Hi, this is Mike with Tractor Mike Q&A. I had a question today from Quent, and Quent says, I have a well-kept 8N Ford that's been passed down in the family for years, kind of like this one right here in my area. And we've used it for bush hogging and a little blade work. The wife and I have some new property, and it seems like a good time to retire/restore the 8N like this one has been done, and buy a new tractor. And they've got around 27 acres. I cut a couple of gravel driveways. I'm sure others have been in this dilemma of deciding on a replacement for the classic 8N Ford. And I'm considering 40-ish horsepower four-wheel drive and front end loader. I like the Kubota L3901 and the Coyote CK4010, but they seem a tad small, although I know they'll work out like the old 8N did. And yes, they will. And this gives me an opportunity today to show you a classic American tractor, the Ford 8N. There were thousands and thousands of these built, and still a lot of these running. And this one here today is about 10 miles from where I live, and they've gone through a full wall-to-wall restoration on this thing, and it's beautiful. It's just like it came off the showroom floor. And I thought it would be a good chance today, since a lot of folks move to the country and they'll buy a gas tractor to get them by till they can move up to a modern diesel compact tractor, how this tractor compares to the tractors of today. And we're going to look at a few of the specs today, and it's kind of a couple of things are surprising. Number one, how the smaller compact tractors really have a lot of features and a lot of power and a lot of lift capacity, and you might not think that they do compared to this because they seem to be smaller, and this seems more like a farm tractor, and they seem more like a hobby farmer type tractor. But in reality, they shine in their specs. The other thing is, it's amazing to know how far ahead of its time this tractor was. So let's talk about the specs first. Now, before I start talking about, question was about a Kubota and a Coyote, but if you look at Deere and Mahindra and Massey and New Holland, LS, TYM, Branson, Yanmar, who am I forgetting? All of the tractor companies that make tractors today, almost all of them, without exception, have a tractor that specs with an 8N Ford. And that may be, in most cases, their number one seller. And it's kind of surprising this far forward that they would be. But let's look at the specs of this 8N Ford versus a modern tractor. First off, this 8N Ford at the PTO put out between 23 and 27 horsepower, depending on the year. And if you're looking at these modern tractors, the Coyote and the Kubota that Quent mentioned, they're 30 to 34 horse at the PTO. So you've got a little more horsepower with the modern tractor. Of course, the 8N only came in two-wheel drive. Nobody knew about four-wheel drive. The new tractors are going to be four-wheel drive. This 8N had a 4-speed forward, 1-speed reverse transmission, which was a little bit archaic for today's standards. The new tractors, at the very least, will have 9 speeds forward and 3 reverse. They'll may have a forward reverse clutch shuttle, which is handy with loader work, or a hydrostatic drive, which is a real nice feature. The funny thing about this 8N Ford will surprise you a little bit on how it stacks up weight-wise with the newer tractors. This tractor weighed around 2,700 pounds. The new tractors will actually outweigh it with a front-end loader. The base tractors will weigh around 2,700 pounds, so they're pretty close in weight. And then you add the front end loaders around 800 pounds, and the new tractors actually will outweigh this older 8N. But when you look at front wheel drive adds weight, you look at a roll bar adds weight, and definitely the front end loader adds weight. You've got actually more tractor with the compacts than there was with the 8N Ford. When you look at the rear lift capacity, and this might surprise a lot of people, 8N Ford could lift at the 3-point around 800 pounds. And that was it. The newer tractors will lift at least double that. So the new tractors have a definite advantage in rear lift capacity. And of course, with a front end loader, you've got front lift capacity as well. The new tractors have wet disc brakes. The old 8N had drum brakes. And if you buy an older tractor, make sure it can stop, especially on hills. Power takeoff, big advantage to the newer tractors. If you have an 8N Ford, make sure you have an overrunning clutch, because their PTO was tied into the transmission. And if you're brush hogging and you push in the clutch and you don't have an overriding clutch, the inertia from the blades can push you places you don't want to go. So if you're new to tractors, you buy an 8N like this, make sure you get an overrunning clutch on the back end to keep that from happening. 8N had no power steering. New tractors have power steering. Of course, the new tractors have rollover protection and seat belt, which is definitely a plus. The seat on the 8N, yeah, it was okay when that's all you knew you had, and it was better than standing behind a horse all day, which is what the previous generation of farmers did. But the newer tractors definitely have much more comfortable seats for long days. So when you're looking at a tractor, this is a 1950 model 8N, and it's just in amazing shape, and it's spent its life brush hogging in the hills of the Ozarks, and it has ground feed and done all kind of farm chores. It's run a sickle mower, it's done all that stuff. And this was the first tractor the owner ever drove, and it belonged to his grandfather, and he ended up with it, and he did a wall-to-wall restoration, and it's perfect, just like it came off the showroom floor, and it's a beautiful testimony to the older tractors. So in the end, if you're looking for a tractor to move up from the 8N, honestly, I love these older tractors, but you're going to move up in so many ways. I think you're going to like your newer tractor a lot better than the older tractor. But I'm going to say, this tractor, for an almost 70-year-old tractor, still doing work, and still the size and the specs and everything pretty darn close to what's designed today, as a tribute to the engineers that designed this tractor back in the 40s. Appreciate you watching my video. If you'd like to see some other older tractor videos, go to either one of these right here. And if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd be honored. Click the mic face icon up in the corner, and make sure you check the bell icon so you're notified when I post future videos. Thanks for watching.